Hello and welcome to this session, friends. My name is Yogesh Kumar. In this session, we are going to talk about Ansible static and dynamic inventory. Friends, Ansible is used for managing multiple servers in the infrastructure. The collection of hosts is also known as Ansible Inventory. An inventory is a text file listing host names, usually grouped by functionality. Let's say you got hosts which are serving the purpose of web server, so you can make a group web server. If your servers falls in database category, you can create a DB server group. To use the Ansible tool effectively, it becomes necessary to understand the key components, and inventory is a key component of Ansible. I have listed a couple of recommendations on inventory. They are: give inventory nodes a human-friendly name rather than just putting the IP address or DNS host name. For example, you got IP, let's say 10.10.10.10. But with IP, no one can identify what is the purpose of this host. Or if you put host name, let's say you got some naming convention in your setup, like server123 at xyz.com. But again, by checking that DNS name, I'm not sure what the purpose of this server. So we can put alias in /etc/host. Similar way, we can put alias in Ansible inventory. So that's something I think you can always put alias, by which you can easily identify the purpose of the server. Next recommendation, always group the resources of similar functionality or function. As I mentioned, if you go to a couple of servers, they are serving web server purpose, so make a group called web server. And similar, you can create a group staging server, development server, production database, non-production database. Like in this way, you can make grouping. Next, and very important, maintain accurate information in the inventory file. What it mean? Let's say you got one server, but you are referring that server twice in different groups. For example, you got a server, you have specified that server in non-production group as well as production group. So your information is contradicting. So try to avoid that, because when you run Ansible commands, it basically relies whatever information you have in inventory, that's true, because Ansible will make decision based on the host groups. If you run a command in non-production group, but by mistake you have entered or you have kept a server which is basically production server in non-production group, so Ansible is going to run the commands on production servers along with the group of non-production servers. So that's something you need to take care. That's the reason. Just maintain accurate information in the inventory file. In Ansible, friends, there are two types of inventories. One is static inventory, one is dynamic inventory. Ansible primarily have two types of host inventories, which I just told you, but you can club the static and dynamic inventory to populate the hybrid inventory. Let's say you got a couple of servers which are in-house and some servers which are hosted on cloud. So you can club that inventory to make a dynamic inventory. Static inventory. Friends, static inventory is default inventory, and it is defined inside etc/ansible/ansible.cfg file. This is the file where all the Ansible configuration is kept. You can modify the default static inventory file, which is etc ansible host. You can populate your own desired name, or if you don't want to modify it in ansible.cfg file, you can manually specify inventory by using switch-i and path to your new inventory file, and Ansible will follow that new inventory file for that particular task or the command which you are running. On my screen, if you can see, I have example of static inventory file. If you see here, I have one group named all, And in that group, I got this is my alias app-apache-finance. This is alias, and actual server name is appserver1.opensky.home. Similar way, I got db-mysql-marketing, but actual server name is dbserver1.opensky.home. I'm specifying with ansible-host. Sorry, it's ansible_host. That's a way to define the server. And I have keep two separate groups. One is for my app servers and second for DB servers. And I got server here. That's a reason I was telling, if you can put some alias, like this alias can tell this is MySQL server, which is database server, and this is for marketing. This is application server. It's running Apache. It is used for finance. So in that way, you will be having some clue, okay, what is the server, for which purpose the server is being used. And next, I have demonstrated how you can keep a numeric range of servers. Let's say you got Apache 01 to 050, Apache 1, Apache 02, Apache 03, 04, like to Apache 50. So you can group the servers by numeric identifier like the way I did here. And to execute static inventory, you can simply ansible-i inventory file -m is module. I'm just pinging the servers which are part of this particular inventory file, which is static inventory. All mean I'm pinging all servers, or you can say this particular group. This was static inventory. Let's have a look on dynamic inventory, then we will jump to technical session. In dynamic inventory, friend, let's say you have a setup where you add and remove the host very frequently. Then keeping your inventory file always up to date becomes a little bit problematic. For example, let's say you got set up on Amazon Cloud, where you are building 100 new servers every day and decommissioning 100 servers. So what it means, friends, if you're going to maintain this inventory file manually, that is going to take ages, right? Because after every decommission, you have to clean up the host from inventory file. Then after every new build, you have to update file for the new information. And that's a mess if you are maintaining that manually. For that purpose, you can use dynamic inventory. Friends, what is dynamic inventory? Dynamic inventory are scripts written in Shell or Python, which you can use to get host names dynamically. By running that script, it will populate you host names. Dynamic inventory got benefits over static inventory. First, it reduces the human error. Because information is collected by scripts, like you are not manually updating the data, right? So there are less chances of human error. And second benefit, very less manual effort for managing the inventory, because you are not doing the things now. Scripts are doing the things on your behalf. Ansible have inventory collection scripts for below platforms: EC2, OpenStack, BSD Jails, Google Compute, Spacewalk, and many more, friends. You can refer Ansible link, which is on my screen, this one, for latest detail. I have just downloaded one dynamic inventory script, which is I named it dynamic-invent-ec.py, which is Python script, and ec2.ini. ini is the file which contains Ansible EC2 external inventory scripting setting. So when I run dynamic invent ec.py script, it basically checks what is defined in ec.ini. So these are the configuration parameters. And here I have demonstrated example how you can run dynamic inventory script. So what I'm doing, ansible-i, I'm just specify my script, and then I'm specifying my user, because on Amazon EC2-user is default user. If you have already keys set up for your root account or Ansible account, no need to specify user, it will pick the default Ansible user. But for this demo, I'm just using -u EC2-user, which is default user on Amazon Red Hat AMI. And then I'm saying filter it with tag. So this is the way to specify tags in Ansible dynamic inventory. I'm saying tag _ name is the key underscore the value AWS lab star. So I'm saying list or use the instances which got tag key name and tag value AWS lab star, means whatever after AWS lab star, or you can say where AWS lab is suffix. Sorry friends, I'm correcting myself. AWS lab is prefix. Here again I mentioned suffix, but that's prefix. And then I'm saying -m ping. Here I'm not saying all or any server, because whatever server's name this particular Ansible command gets using this dynamic inventory, it will perform action on those servers. So this is dynamic inventory, friends. So let's me show you the inventories in this session. Okay, I'm on my Ansible server. Let me switch directly to etc Ansible. Here, as I mentioned, hosts is the default inventory, or you can say static inventory. Let me show you content of hosts. If you see, all is a group. I have created this alias Ansible host. This is the server DNS name, or you can specify IP. That's up to you. But this is the alias. So as I mentioned, it's always good to have alias. And this is app server group. This is DB server group. Groups are surrounded by square braces, if you see here, and that's a way like groups are identified inside Ansible inventories. So this was static inventory. Let me show you how static inventory work. Ansible, let's say I'm using -m ping all. I believe my servers are down, so this may not work. Yeah, my servers are down. Let me power on my servers. Okay, I have just started my KVM servers, because for my lab I'm using KVM virtual servers as my Ansible clients. Sorry, I repeated this command. Let me check whether they are reachable now. Friends, you might be thinking why I have not used or specified -i inventory path. Reason behind, because by default in the ansible.cfg, default inventory file is /etc/ansible/hosts. That's the reason I'm not specifying. If I'm using some custom static inventory file, then I can override the default settings by specifying -i and path to the static inventory file, new static inventory file. So I believe my servers are not up yet. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. Okay, friends, they are up, and if you see, I am able to ping the servers. Now let me show you demo how Ansible inventory groups are used using Ansible ad hoc commands. Let me show you. Let me check what is the group name. Here, let me show you inventory file again. So now if I used all, it pinged all servers, like these two servers, right? Let's say I want to ping only group app server. So here with same command, I can say instead of all, ping app servers. So it will ping only one server. If you see, it ping this particular server, which was part of app server group. Let me do, I'm saying ping all and -l, I'm limiting the thing. So this is the way to limit. I'm saying ping only this server. In all, group is all, but ping only this server. -l is for limits. So this is the limit. That's the way, friend, static inventory is defined, and it works the way which I just described. Let's work on dynamic inventories now. For dynamic inventory, I have downloaded scripts from Amazon. This is the dynamic inventory script, which is Python script, and this is the information file, or you can say the settings file. Before running dynamic inventory, I just want to display what is the information inside ec2.ini file, because that it's important to understand what is the information inside this file. Then only you can use the dynamic inventory file efficiently. Okay, If you see, friends, this is a group EC2, so I'm going to query EC2 services, and here the uncommented thing, region is equal to all. What it means, this particular script can query all region, or if you want to specify only check these regions, you can say regions here, and multiple regions need to be comma separated. And region exclude, it means these regions will be not checked by the script. Okay, that's a way like you can specify regions or control the regions. And if you got some particular VPC, you can specify here. And this is destination variable, it will check public DNS name. Right now my servers are using public DNS because they are on I'm accessing through public network. Let's say you go to your private VPC and you don't have public DNS, then you can use your private DNS. You can specify here private DNS. Then hostname variable is tag underscore name. This is the way like they are defined. Tag underscore name, which is default variable for host names. And this is the VPC destination. Everything is rare. So route 53 is set to false. It means it will not check route 53, not RDS, elastic cache false. Whatever false, it will ignore those things. And let me show you one important thing which I just did here. This is elastic cache, and that's for every service, friends. Most of the information you have to define here, and all the information is giving. And this is the grouping information. If you see, group by tag key is set to true, group by tag none true. So I'm using tagging to define the inventories here. Let me show you how I'm doing that. Okay, friends, if you see here, I'm saying instance filter. So I'm filtering the instances because in static inventory we have manually defined the groups, right? But with dynamic inventory, you have to use the tags to make the grouping. Let's say you go to two servers, one is your production server, one is lab server. So you can put a tag, let's say environment or name AWS PROD, which means that server is production server, AWS LAB, that's non-prod server. In that way you can categorize the thing, or you can put tag, okay, DB server 1, app server 1, that's up to you. Here I have just defined this particular tag for demo. I'm saying instance filter need to be tag, and its value need to be starting with AWS star, and this is the key, this is the value. So name need to be started with AWS star. That's a way like there are multiple settings of dynamic inventory, you can do that. And on my Ansible server, I got connectivity with Amazon cloud. So let me quickly show you how dynamic inventory works. So here, friends, I'm using Ansible module, not module, Ansible command -i. I'm using dynamic inventory.py script as my inventory, -u. As I mentioned, I have not done setup for passwordless communication for Ansible user, which I'm using root account right now, but you can set up your keys, then no need to specify -u EC2 user. This is for demo, so I have not configured the SSH keys for root user. I'm using EC2 user keys. And here I'm saying tag, filter the instances with tag, where key is name and value is starting with AWS lab star. And I'm saying use module ping. Let's try. Here, if you see, I don't have any dynamic inventory file. So Ansible will automatically find what are the public IP addresses, as I just described ect.ini file that is having variables. So it will automatically check what is the public IP of instance which got AWS lab prefix as the tag. It will ping that server. Let's wait. It may take a couple of seconds to finish because it is checking the instances online, as there is no static or local inventory file. Okay, friends, if you see, Ansible dynamic inventory returned this particular IP which code tag AWS lab. So that's the reason it automatically pinged that server and server is up, so success. Let's rerun this command with Ansible keyword PR, which is prod. I have already defined these tags. I will show you these tags quickly. If you see, it pinged different server now ending with IP 197. Earlier it pinged different server. So friends, that's the way it works. And let's say you don't define any tag or any information or any filter. So what Ansible will do, it will ping all the servers. Here I have to say all now because I am not giving tag or other information. But if you want grouping, you can use tags to make your grouping. Now it will ping both servers, if you see, right? And let me show you tags, how it worked. I'm just using describe instances and taking output in table, so can easily describe this thing to you. Okay friends, if you see this particular server, it got name AWS lab server. So, and this was the command which I was using, right? So tag and name is the key here, and its value need to start from AWS PR, which is here, AWS PR, this one. If you see AWS PR, this is for prod, or you can completely say AWS prod server. So that's the way I'm using tagging. And when I used it earlier, I said AWS lab star, means if server got name tag with prefix AWS lab, then ping that server. So in that way you can make grouping. You can do like you can add a tag saying application dev Apache, application prod Apache. So you can use those tags for Ansible to manage the dynamic inventory thing. So that's the way friends dynamic inventory works. So if you have any query or any suggestion, or you have any other recommendation or doubt, you can always leave a comment on my YouTube channel, and I will try to respond to you as soon as possible. And thanks for watching this video friends. If you like this video, just hit subscribe button and also click like button on my video. Thanks a lot friends. Bye bye.